Okay.
Okay, sorry for the delay. Laura, if you're ready, you can start with your presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Sorry again for the delay earlier. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Laura Bontemps. I have a PhD in history, but I'm primarily a conservator for cultural heritage. And as I don't get the chance to meet you in person, I'd like to thank the organizers of the conference for having me today. I'll be presenting a part issued from my PhD work that I had the chance to pursue from 2020 to 2024 with the help of the French Egyptian Center for the Study of the Temples of Karnak in Egypt and the Foundation for Cultural Heritage Science in France. The object of today's presentation, entitled Disciplinary Crossing for a Relative Timeline of Analog Photographs of the Whitechapel of Sesostris I at Karnak, is to show you an example of how crossing disciplines can help in the comprehension of a photographic archive collection and how it can enhance our knowledge of it. So for a quick starter, let me introduce you to the Whitechapel of Sesostris I, as it is one of the oldest monuments of Karnak. It's completely made of limestone, and it has been erected during the reign of Sesostris I for the pharaoh's jubilee, and it served as the kiosk for regular rituals of power renewal. As such, its use wasn't limited to the reign of only Sesostris I, as the chapel is knowingly reused by Thutmose I and then later by the Queen Hatshepsut. At an unknown date, the chapel has been dismantled without breaking the stone blocks before being buried in the foundation of the third pylon in Karnak. It is only during the 20th century that the chapel of Sesostris I will be rediscovered during the excavation of the third pylon. In 1926, as the third pylon condition state was unstable and began to be a threat for the Great Hypostyle Hall, it was decided to undergo a full excavation of its foundation and to consolidate them afterwards. During the excavation, Henri Chevrier, the director of Karnak at that time, discovered the blocks of several monuments from Karnak, from Karnak, including the ones belonging to the Whitechapel of Sesostris I. As it goes, on November 16th, 1927, the first one of them was discovered. By 1934, they had discovered most of them, which allowed Henri Chevrier to attempt a first model of a chapel and to argue in favor of the reconstruction of the monuments, while beginning the conservation work on the stones at the same time. In 1937, they started the anastylosis work. The complete process, from the excavation to the completion of the anastylosis, with the conservation and consolidation process for the blocks, has been documented by a huge photographic cover, mostly preserved at the French Egyptian Center in Karnak. This collection mostly consists of glass plate photographs taken by Henri Chevrier or member of his team, and they have been digitized and integrated in a database developed by Archaeology in collaboration with the French Egyptian Center. This database, accessible for researchers, offers the possibility to navigate through the archives and to read the available metadata on each photograph. While doing my PhD research, I quickly began to use methods coming from other disciplines than mine. As a conservator, I'm used to mobilize other disciplines, and in order to complete a holistic study of a monument, I had to cross methods from different disciplines, like the work on archives with history and conservation knowledge, as it becomes a necessity. As I was working on the archive photographs of the Whitechapel, it quickly became clear that the dates and periods added on the metadata were mostly very broad, unclear, or even inaccurate to the anastylosis process. The knowledge sourced from the written archives and the cross-comparison of the photographs available in the database allowed adjustments of the dates from the archive collection from Henri Chevrier. I'll be showing you here several examples of what kind of information could be gathered to propose new dating range and relative timeline for the photographs. First example is the photograph 28101, dated in the range 1920-1950. So as you can see, it's very broad. Obviously, it can't be before 1926 because the excavation didn't even started yet. And it can't be after 1937 as it was already over. So we can diminish the range of dating proposal. So it's somewhere between 1926 and 1937. As a second example, we can see photographs taken during the anastylosis process. These two photographs that we can see on screen are clearly showing the chapel in the almost same condition state, or at least a very similar state on the east facade. One is dated 1935-1937, and the other is very specifically dated on the 25th January 1938. Obviously, since they are both taken just several days apart, the photograph number 83057 can be dated between 1935-1937, but must be dated in January 1938. In the same spirit, we here have the photograph 46503, initially dated 1937-1938, as it clearly shows the beginning of the installation of the ceiling tiles. It must be dated after the two previous photographs that we just saw, so after the 25th of January 1938. And this kind of work, crossing the information we have from the written archives and the photograph, can lead to the fact that this picture, dated 1937, can obviously not be 1937, but only after 1938. This way, the whole anastylosis process can be rearranged through the photographs from the basement of the chapel to the ceiling. The same process of cross-examination of the photograph archives of Henri Chevrier can be made for the conservation process of the blocks themselves. And as for the anastylosis process, most of the date range are broad or inaccurate. And the readings of the written archives, in situ condition assessment, and the comparison of the archive photographs led to the possibility to reconsider the relative timeline. So you can see here an example of the screen of the pillar 7 of the chapel, for which a batch of 5 photographs from Henri Chevrier could be reassigned a relative chronology from the excavation to the cleaning and reassembly until the filling process. So this part of the PhD research showed the possibility of rereadings photograph archives by crossing the disciplines of history, archives, and conservation. The comparison of this kind of source led to new knowledge and new information for the archive photographs. And it can be further done on other monuments in Karnak, and the metadata can be rearranged in the future in the database. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you to all our speakers for their excellent and insightful presentations. We'll now open the floor for any questions, discussion. If anyone has any remark or comment, if not, maybe online. And if not, with that, so we conclude the third panel. Thank you again to speakers and to the audience for also understanding the technical issues and everything. So yeah, that's it. And we will continue with our poster presentations after a 5 minutes break.
Okay. Predstavitev se bom imel slovenščino. Ja, je puška v angliščini. Ne, v slovenščini. Bom lahko podobno na komputer. Prva.
Hi everyone, welcome back. Before we begin with our last session, the poster session, I would like to invite Dr. Matija Člešnar from the MATRES project and from Faculty of Arts to say a couple of words.
Thank you very much. I'm going to be very short. I'm really sad I couldn't be here the whole day. I was listening just to the last session, but I was impressed. Quite diverse presentations, and when I saw through the titles, I'm really happy that young researchers, not only from Slovenia but from the broader region, are now gathering for the traditional second time here, and I hope this tradition is gonna be much longer in the next years. And our MATRES project, which is a project of the University of Ljubljana, is strongly supporting the development or evolution of heritage science. And I mean, the future of heritage science is on you, on the youth. We are just trying to guide you, to help you. We are still mostly raised in one discipline, but you are already being raised from multiple disciplines, which is the future for sure. So you, as in a way hybrid researchers, scientists of the future, I hope that you will develop this field further, and MATRES is going to help you for the few next years to make like gatherings like this today. And I'm really happy that the HERIC young researchers and heritage scientists of Slovenia is developing so strongly in the last few years. And I just wish you all the best, and for the next few years, we're going to for sure stand with you.
Thank you, Dr. Člešnar. Okay, so now it is time for our last session. I would like to invite Marika Günz to the stage, and her poster title is Embroidery and Balkan Heritage. She just told me that her poster is in Slovenian and her presentation will be held in Slovenian. I will try to make a short recap in the end. I would like to inform all of the presenters that you are timed at 3 minutes. So yeah, that is it. Thank you.
Pozdravljeni, ime je Marika Günz. Sem študentka na Naravoslovno-tehniški fakulteti, tako da predstavitev bo v slovenskem jeziku, ker smo se napačno razumeli. Torej, predstavila vam bom projekt, ki smo ga izvedli s študenti. Torej, najprej smo zastavili nekaj ciljev. Izhajali smo iz čilimov, iz katerih smo nato naredili v bistvu ilustracijo v programu Affinity Design in Adobe Illustrator. Nato smo naredili v bistvu mrežo, iz katere so v bistvu gospe Društva razkritih rok naredili vezanine, ki so se nato zašile. Nato smo predstavili v Jesenicah, oziroma torej na razstavi, skupaj z ilustracijami v ozadju, ki se vidijo pol na sliki. Poleg vezanin so se naredili tudi urbani sedalniki, ki so se predstavili tudi na 3 različnih lokacijah. Ena izmed teh je bila tudi v Novi Gorici, medtem pa tudi na vlaku na poti v Novo Gorico. To je to. Thank you.
Okay, can you just put it back?
Sorry?
So, yeah, one more? Okay, so even though it's in Slovenian, she just explained to us how they did the embroidery, how they chose how to do it. They sewed, they made embroidery, and I don't know the English terms, polnjenje, okrasni blazin. Filling in the decorative cushions, etc. It is very interesting, so thank you. And now I would like to invite to stage the second poster from Tjaša Zorc, Tara Zupancic, and Zoja Jesich. From symbols to useful objects, reinterpretation of the attributes of the National Assembly portal.
Okay, good afternoon. We are Tjaša, Tara, and Zoja. We study graphic and interactive communications at the Faculty of Natural Sciences and Engineering. Last semester, we collaborated on a project where we created useful objects inspired by already existing artworks, which impacted Slovenian culture. In our case, that was the portal of the National Assembly of the Republic of Slovenia. Its creators, Zdenko Kalin and Karol Putrich, made the monument symbolizing cultural revival, economic development, and everyday life of the post-war populations.
So we set ourselves for hypotheses, which were artistic interpretation and in modernist sculpture can be translated into a functional product which can be used to engage the broader community. Second, using 3D technologies, modeling and 3D printing, we can create translations of classical sculpture into functional products. Third, the attributes on the portal of the National Assembly in Ljubljana created by Kalin and Putrich can serve as subjects for exploring socially significant structures at the time the sculptural composition was created. And fourth, attributes of the past can also be relevant in contemporary social systems, culture, the economy, and social classes.
Under the mentorship of our professor Boris Beja, we initially sketched generic graphics of the attributes held by the statues of the portal. After discussion, we created a second pass of graphics, which we then vectorized, therefore achieving scalability of the motifs without loss of details. Afterwards, we chose 5 attributes, which we turned into 3D models in Blender and printed them using Bambu Lab A1 printer. This way, we created biscuit molds, which are contemporary reinterpretations of the portal's symbolic elements, and established a bridge between historical sculptural narratives and a modern audience.
Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. I just have one short question. Are these molds available to purchase or something?
I mean, we were looking into it and also doing like the packaging, but like it's gonna be an ongoing project and with our mentor, and we'll see where it takes us.
Cool project. Thank you. Okay, now I would like to call to stage Žiga Ceglar, also mentored by Boris Beja, transforming the museum artifact into a tactile adaptation for blind and visually impaired audiences. The floor is yours.
Hello, my name is Giga. I also study and I'm a student in the third year of Graphic and Interactive Communications at the Faculty of Natural Sciences and Engineering. This project we started because the main goal of this project was to explore how we can transform visual museum material into something that we can touch, so a tactile interpretation, and if models as such can be used in a museum environment. The first step was that the Museum of National Liberation in Maribor provided us two pictures as figure 1 and figure 2. The first picture was Maribor Remand Prison, and the second was Dachau Badge. We started modeling in Blender. We preserved the overall architectural scheme of the Remand Prison, and with the details we had to be really careful so we don't lead on people when they're tactile feeling the models, and everything is felt and okay. So the second one was the Dachau Badge. We chose a different approach. We divided the whole badge into 3 different pieces. The first piece was the rectangular white piece. The second piece was the red triangle, and the third piece was the letter J that was printed on its own, and you could, it was like a puzzle, so you could put it into the badge or fill it in your own hands. We printed all those models with the FDM 3D printing technology. Some of the models needed support structures because so the filament didn't damage, and the whole project was exhibited in the same museum, so Museum of National Liberation in Maribor, with exhibition titled Zoborom iz teme. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I will ask for questions later. If I'm correct, Natasha Ulan is not here. She's not. Okay, so the next presentation will be by Antonio Stojanowski with the title, The Role of 3D Digital Visualizations in Archaeological Heritage.
Hello, my name is Antonio Stojanowski. I study master's degree in University of Primorska in Koper. Today I will represent you my research on the importance of the 3D digital visualization, the reconstruction of the ambient, because archaeology is becoming less and less attractive to the wider audience. So we need to have a new approach to get the attention of the wider audience. And the method that I use is the reconstruction, 3D reconstructions. But with this method, I have made my previous projects were not so good. And I learned from my mistakes that it's not always important just to make it look beautiful, but it's important to be minimal and how can I say functional.
Correct.
Correct, yeah, correct on the archaeological evidence that we have on terrain. So that's why I choose to present my last project that I made, which is very minimal. We just reconstructed the ambient. It's the new building from Stibera Agora, which is in Macedonia. As you can see, we reconstructed just what we found, what the archaeological evidence is on the field what's in situ, what we found in situ. We just make it a reconstruction, and we made a little imagination for the roof, which we also found roof tiles on the floor. But also the good thing about the 3D reconstruction is because if we made it bad, we can make a representation and we can correct ourselves. Because as you can see here, this is on terrain reconstruction. They made 3 windows, which later they told me it's not correct. So I think that the visual reconstruction on computer is much better for presentation of our archaeological sites.
Thank you. Okay, and next presentation is by Nika Vidit, Zala Bratina, and Boris Bea, deconstructing the Kurent tradition, identity, and contemporary artistic transformation. The floor is yours.
Hi, we are Nika and Zala from Faculty of Natural Sciences, and today we will present our research that we wrote with Boris Bea with the title Deconstructing the Kurent Tradition, Identity, and Contemporary Artistic Transformation. The paper explores how the image of the Kurent is depicted and interpreted in contemporary visual art. We drew inspiration from Franțea Mihelic and his work, The Dead Kurent. In our research, we deconstructed the figure of Kurent, and thereby we recognized it not only as a cheerful bringer of spring, but also as an anonymous violent figure in our society. We developed pattern for black works and cross-stitch embroidery, and
then through the process, we designed the linear repetitive pattern that symbolically embodies Kurent and its story. And then the final embroidery, which we by hand then put in action, was the Kurent's head with a fringe border with added colorful threads that you can see here, and it was put against a red background, so there is a large contrast that symbolizes the power of tradition and also the violence that is behind Kurent and can be easily hidden behind the mask and the person that is essentially anonymous by wearing it and doing all the harm. The final result was also presented this year in Extempore Ptui around the carnival this year. That's it.
Thank you. Okay, and last but not least, I would like to invite Britta Mandel and Boris Bea, sacred architectures in relation to the pattern.
Yes. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Britta Mandel from the Faculty of Natural Sciences and Engineering. I will be presenting research and results on the topic of sacred architecture in the context of patterns. This project focus were 3 Slovenian churches that were destroyed during the World War II and then later on rebuilt by the local communities. These churches are the Church of St. Roch on Filić Peak, the Church of St. Lucy in Dražgoše, and the Church of St. Gertrude above Lajše. Our goal was to create patterns to establish a relationship between the old and the new churches in the form of digital patterns. This series of patterns would then be presented within a contemporary exhibition format and be used to establish a connection between the past and the present. For the experimental part, we first drew the line art of the old and the new churches and then exported it to Adobe Illustrator where we vectorized it. And then layered it, colored it, where the color red represented the old churches and the color blue represented the new churches. These renderings were then constructed into patterns, one for each church. The final result is a triptych of posters seen on figure 6, titled from left to right Restoration, in parentheses the St. Roch Church, Renovation, in parentheses St. Lucy Church, and again, in parentheses, the St. Gertrude Church. My mentor was then able to fund a single printing of the graphic restoration on tarp, which was then drove to the site of the Church of St. Roch, where we hung it from the lantern of the church and took pictures of it. This way we established to connect the art with its place of origin and inspiration. We were then fortunate enough to present both the tarp and the photographs at the 80 Years of Freedom exhibition at the City Museum of Ljubljana, which runs till the 19th of April. That's all from me. Thank you so much for listening.
Okay. And with this, we have come to the final part of this session. I would like to open the discussion. Are there any questions for any of the Flash Talk presenters? Also, people online, if you want to write in the chat or just turn on your microphone, you are all more than welcome to do so. Okay, then if there are no questions, I would like to thank all of the presenters for their very lovely and great presentations. And I would also then like to move on to the concluding remarks. No? Yes. So it's been a long day, and I know we're all tired, but at the end of the day, I think this was really a marvelous conference, already the second one. And like Dr. Cheshnar had said, I hope it will become a tradition. We all do. I think we heard so many interesting topics from young and emerging professionals, scholars, and students, and professionals, all of that, presenting their work, and it shows that interdisciplinarity is the way to go. And I also hope that a lot of you made some connections with other people so that you have some networking done for the future, or that you heard about interesting topics for the future. So I hope, I mean, we all hope that this conference was also a success for everyone. I would also like to thank everyone online and to bear with our technical problems. There weren't that many for a conference, I must say, but still there had to be some. And at this point, I would like to thank Dr. Cheshnar and the Matres project for financial and organizational aid, E-RIHS, Matthias Strlic, and also E-RIHS for the YouTube broadcast and the PR that they've done for us. We would like to thank Faculty of Arts for hosting us today here, and for the help with the organization. Also the biotechnical faculty, the chemistry and chemical engineering faculty, the restoration center, Green Hair, everyone. There were so many people involved. And also we would like to thank the speakers in the introduction, Dr. Prodonik, Dr. Hudulin, and Dr. Humar, for their kind words of introduction, and of course to our Lana Nastianjur, our president, without whom we wouldn't be here.
Thank you so much, Brina, and thanks back to you for doing an amazing load of work. Thanks also to an incredibly dedicated organizational team, and I really want to name each and every one of you just to express the gratitude and to acknowledge the really incredible amount of work that you've done. So first, please, a round of applause for Katja Speth, who's done an incredible job, really. And thank you so much, Annemarie Herzeg, who has done an incredible work leading the deployment of the Book of Abstracts. It's been a tough task, really. So the applause for Annemarie, please.
Then to Christina Klemencic, who's done an amazing job with designing all the graphics that you've seen in our emails and in today's presentations. So also please a round of applause. Then to our incredible Demian, who was our technical support today, running up and down. So thank you so much, Demian, for that, really. Please an applause. And then to two more silent members of our organizational team, but with whom we couldn't done it. So Iva Bostic and Luka Kopac. So another applause for them as well. And then before we really part our ways, I want to share an absolutely incredible news. It's coming from France. Unfortunately, Salome Tudosu couldn't be with us today. She's the president of the newly founded French National Organization of Young Researchers in Heritage Science, who we could call our sister organization because they work in the very same way as we do, so through support of their national E-RIHS node. We already started doing first steps towards our common efforts. We are visiting them towards the end of April, and we are also working on them returning a visit in Slovenia very soon. There's a great opportunity to collaborate with them, especially for those who are employed or who are students at University of Ljubljana, because their organization is based at University Sergi, who is, as University of Ljubljana, also a member of Utopia University. And then maybe just some food for thought. We had a guest from Venice today. She has relations with Ka Foscari, who is also a member of Utopia University. And of course, everybody knows we also have some students who have studied heritage science courses at Ka Foscari. And I think there are many things that we could do together. So I think really it's a bright future in front of heritage science. And I think we are really in a historic moment, and we should seize that. So thanks again for everybody who sees that and is showing that with their presence here today. So many thanks to everybody who came. Really, thank you. So I guess that's it for today, and see you next year.
Before you all leave, can we all maybe line up here or outside to take a group photo? That would be nice, huh? Sorry? Maybe on the stairs, yes. I'm sorry, the online people, you will be greatly missed. Thank you all again, and until next year.